One is enough to get started. So, today's stream, we have some really good news, but I'm not going to share it quite yet because I think that for right now, we're going to wait and see if there's any more people that are going to show up. So, here's how we're going to do this thing. Hold on, I'm going to fix my camera, maybe, possibly. Almost definitely going to try to do that. Hold up. Hit the wrong button. It's fine. We're new to this. We're new to this. And we're going to keep on trucking. Keep on trucking. A few seconds behind here. Hello, hello, welcome, welcome. Today, we are going to do a tier list. It'll be my first tier list. Hopefully, can you guys hear me okay? Let me know in the chat. Hello, hello. Today, we're going to do a tier list today. I've been thinking all day. I've been wanting to do a tier list. Been wanting to do a tier list all day. Kind of started a draft. Before, but excuse me while I move my mic a little bit. But we're going to do tier list today, who I think are the easiest to the hardest matchups for good old Brian Fury. And then we're going to take a break, and then we're going to fire up the old Tekken and look at some replays. So, but before that happens, literally just before the stream, I took a look at my channel page. I saw a very interesting statistic. Today, ladies and gentlemen. But I need to see laughing emojis in the chat before we get into that. So if I could get some laughing emojis, some tearful laughing emojis in the chat, Zane and Far. I need a pronunciation check on, what is it, Pharaoh Trink. Don't want to be mispronouncing that. Okay, we got one. We got one. I need to see the other one. I need to see the other one. I need to see the other one before we show the amazing stats. Come on, we're waiting. We're waiting. We're waiting on it. We're waiting. We're paused. We're waiting. We're waiting. Oh, we got the other one. We got the other one. Super big deal to me. I know it's a pretty small thing relatively. Faro. Okay. Faro Trink and Zane P. Welcome to the triple digit era. I'm so very excited to announce I finally hit 100 subs, man. I've been working on YouTube videos since I believe 2021. It's Mads. It's Mads. Okay. Hello, Mads. Hello. Welcome to the triple digit era, everybody. I'm very happy to announce we finally hit 100 subs today. Just like I've been working at doing YouTube stuff for about what did I say? 2021, I think is about right. It was sometime during COVID that I started, and I've been working to try and get up to 100 this entire year. Zane, I swear. Zane, I swear. I did not see that word in chat. I do not see that on my chat box right there. Come on, Zane. Don't you do it. Don't you do it in this moment of history. Don't you do it. But yeah, like to everybody who's subscribed, I know most, literally 98% of, people that subscribe probably don't regularly watch my videos, because I know I post a lot. I try to post daily or semi regularly, but I do appreciate the growing channel. Obviously it's a big deal because I've been doing this for 3 years and I finally got to 100 subs. So just super grateful for that. And with that, I believe it is time to start the first tier list on the channel. So, with that out of the way, sorry, the beep, I had to turn off caps lock. I didn't want to accidentally start typing something and yelling at whatever text box I'm in. So, like I said, we're going to look at the tier list today for who I think are the hardest and easiest matchups for Brian Fury. I have already organized it as hardest matchups, tough but winnable, 50-50, win most times, pretty much every time, with exceptions, of course, because every now and then you run into somebody who just beats you, because that's just how the game works. But let's just do it in order here. First of all, Claudio. So I'm actually gonna do what I think is a weird pick, because I don't know this character well enough to say whether or not this is a good matchup or not. Mostly because I never run into Claudio. He's a very low pick rate. I know my friend Jay really loves this character, but for most people, this is not their style in Tekken. So I'm just gonna put him in the 50-50 because I don't know. I think Claudio is one of the characters that is like one of those 5-move characters. Zane is an epic Claudio enjoyer. I do like Claudio. I think his concept is cool. I think in the competitive standpoint that I'm kind of looking at, it doesn't totally strike the right chord for me personally, but I do love his design. I love the Exorcist art that he does. Obviously, I think his little arrow shot is really cool. I think that he's a cool character and a cool concept. For me, he's just not competitively in the meta, which you could say either or, but I think that it just kind of comes down to the player, at least for my Brian. I will say that I am looking at this from a mid-level perspective. I'm not looking at this as, oh, at the highest level, because I don't really understand at the highest level. And at the highest level, anybody can beat anybody. I mean, we've watched Bears win Evo, I believe, either Evo or the Tekken World Tour. But you'd think I'd know that by memory by now, but I don't, and that's the part of the improvement. So anyway, Claudio kind of depends on the person, not really the character. Zafina, I'm also going to put as a 50-50 because a lot of Zafinas really don't give too much like appearance. So for me to really give a solid opinion either way on Zafina would be kind of like, I think, ignorant of me to assume that like, oh, I don't know the matchup or I do know the matchup. So I'm just going to say for Zafina, I'll give her a 50-50. Zane will show you an angry Claudio. Give me 5 months. Square up, Zane. Absolutely square up. I need to see 200 hours in your Steam profile for Tekken, Zane. I need to see it. So anyway, so like I said, these first two are 50-50. I'm actually going to put Paul in the tough but winnable. And a lot of people will probably, like a lot of like full-on Tekken heads will just give me like the absolute like biggest dump just because like Paul is a 7-move character. Well, trust me, I've found the 8th, 9th, and 10th moves playing against Paul. So I can't really say much about like my skill against Paul because again, I also haven't run into him that much. However, the few Pauls that I've run into, I have never been able to figure out how to beat them because they tend to throw those 5 moves in just the right sequences that it just completely like screws my brain up. And man, I just can't do the Paul matchup. But that's also just me. So next up, Raven. Kind of a funny clip happened the other night. I think the two of you were both in the stream when this happened. Though Mads, I think you said you had the volume turned down. Bob S tier. Bob is not in this one. Silly Zane. Which I don't know. I like Bob. I think he's a goofy character. And he was pretty good in Tekken 7. I will grant you that, even though I don't remember too much about Tekken 7 at this point because I've already put 200 hours in Tekken 8. But I don't know. So if you were in the stream the other night and you were listening, I had a moment where I was like, yeah, I know this matchup. Because Raven is like my other character that I actually have like a really solid knowledge base of. And man, I got wiped to the floor with against that guy. Actually, I take that back. I looked back at it. It was a 3-2, but I think it was because he reverse swept me. So I think he kind of just read me like a book and then started using mix-ups, which obviously with Raven it's kind of hard to guess even if you know him because you don't know what the other Raven is going to do. So and the other Raven was really good, and he did a lot of the tricks that I've done and will continue to do with Raven in the future. So I'm also, no pun intended, gonna put Raven as a 50-50 character just because I've beaten most Ravens that I've come up with, but I would presume at mid-level if I run into a good Raven, it's gonna be a struggle, especially in a set that's best of 3. So next up we have Victor, and Victor is interesting because I have won, except for like the first week, I've won pretty much every single match against Victor, with exceptions of course, and actually a set that I have, I don't remember if I actually have it up on my channel or if I just had it like exported and then was gonna put it up later. As Raven, I believe. No, sorry, as Brian. Um, I lost the first game, I think 3-1, and then I swept him the second game and won 3-1. So it was, and most Victor matchups kind of go like that. So I'm gonna kind of just do. I'm gonna do pretty much every time with exceptions, of course, because obviously I did lose a match and I lost bad, but then I made a read and figured it out. So, I would just say for me, a high level Victor would be probably really hard to fight against because being a high level Victor, you already have a pretty good like foundation of your character, and your character's depth isn't quite as quite not quite as deep as other characters that we'll get to. Kind of on that same note, the lower mid level Reynas that I've run into, and a lot of lower ranked players really like Reyna, and I do like Reyna too, and I think she's a really cool character. She's the character that really like got me excited for Tekken 8. And I've played a little bit of her, and I actually, it pains me to say this, I almost like her moveset better than Heihachi's, who is my main in Tekken 7 when I started playing Tekken. And I think I like her moveset better than I like his, which, again, pains me to say. But, and this is actually me saying from experience before I started playing Reyna, I was pretty much winning every match against Reyna, mostly because I know how to play Mishimas, and when you can kind of generalize archetypes in fighting games, you'll have an easier time against a matchup you don't technically know. So I'm going to say pretty much every time with exceptions I have lost to Reynas, of course. Azucena, one of the newer characters, along with these two, actually, the other new character in this game. This character I haven't fought much, even though I kind of thought when I started playing like Tekken, I thought I was gonna fight this character a lot because I've looked at this character and thought I would play that character. And weirdly enough, I haven't run into her that much, so maybe I really should start playing Azucena because she seems really fun. She's got stance parry. She's got mix-ups like crazy. She's another conditioning character like Raven, with more defense and probably better combo damage. Because one of my major like gripes and kind of one of the reasons that I've started moving away from playing Raven is his combo damage is so minimal. Like they gave him the absolute like least amount of damage for staple combos, and I'm so sad because he's so cool and I love his moveset so much. It's just that his combos just feel like they're, hitting somebody across the face with a ball of cotton a bunch of times. It's just not it's just not super like, it's not great utility in a lot of ways. So but with Azucena, a bad Azucena is pretty much a good everyone else. Like except for a couple other examples on this list, which we'll get to. She's kind of one of those characters that lower level players can pick and win with, which is good, which is a good thing. I think that you should definitely have characters in a fighting game that are accessible for new players. I don't think that every character should be as hard as Brian Fury or Heihachi Mishima or anybody like that. So I think having this character in the game as somebody that is not just a visually appealing option, but also an actually like competitively like good character, I think is a really good thing, especially for Tekken 8, which is bringing in a lot of new players. So I like as far as the matchup goes, I would say she's also 50-50 just cuz she's new and there's not as much tech about her right now as there could be in the future. And there's also um, far fewer players right now. So I feel like if there were um, like if there were more knowledge about her, she'd probably be here, and if there were actually stronger tech for her, she'd be here. But they just gave her the big sledgehammer with their most recent nerf patches, and so right now I would say she's a 50-50. I would say in the future that she could move up or down. I don't think she'll ever be hard, like the hardest matchups for Brian, but I don't think it will be a pretty much every time, especially at higher levels. So that's my thought. Shaheen. A lot of people don't particularly like this character just because he doesn't have a lot of character, but I think he's got a lot of competitive viability. Um, so I think, as little as I can actually say about him, he's very viable. Um, I think that he's a pretty good character again for beginners. I think that having those characters is great. So, um, I would say that for me, because Shaheen shows up so rarely, I would put him in the tough but winnable. I promise that there are characters that are really hard for me as Brian, um, but we'll get to that in a few minutes. So, but Shaheen I think is tough but winnable. I've come across a few Shaheens, and most of them have at least beaten me in one game, if not the entire set. Um, so, uh, yeah, I guess that's my whole thought on Shaheen. I think he's a good fundamentals character. I think if you want to learn the game, Shaheen is a great starting point. You're never gonna be anyone's favorite player to watch, but you also won't have like this awful sentiment about you because you're just the annoying character, right? So in that sense, I think that it's a really cool character for beginners. Law, not a cool character for beginners. Very difficult, especially because they've nerfed his damage in a lot of ways, and made him really have to rely on his pace, which is kind of the style of character that he is. Um, Against Law, I'm kind of trying to remember because most of the times that I've played against Law, the meme is true. They always have the worst like internet connections, so it's always been really strugglesome to actually play against them a lot of times. I would say in a fair environment, they're 50-50. It again depends on the player, just like Claudio, just like Safina, just like Raven, just like Hauser Senna. Um, so that's my thought on Law. I mean, I love Martial Law's character. I really love playing as him. I think he feels great in this game. It's just that his damage again, for me, I'm somebody who needs combo damage because that kind of carries me in a lot of ways. Most of my clips on YouTube are of me doing combos. So uh because those are the ones that look good. So yeah, Leroy kind of has a weird spot for me because I think that against a good Leroy, he's probably here. But I have fought a lot of Leroys, and most of them end up here, both as Raven and as Brian. I would say, as far as Brian goes, because for Brian, you're so reliant on maintaining aggression that you actually can kind of give it like an easy read to a Leroy player who has the parry and can then just frame parry you, get a bunch of damage. Now he has chip damage. He's actually probably A tier now. If maybe A B tier, something like that. Um, so I would say Leroy is probably a win most times right now, but we could see some scary Leroys in the future because of the chip damage they gave him. So you know, my friend Aaron is a Leroy player, and I think that he's going to end up figuring out Leroy, um, because I have faith in my friend that he's eventually gonna pick up Leroy and really start to lab him and get good. I think that's, you know, I think that's something that he's willing to do eventually. So, um, but uh, that's kind of all I have on Leroy for right now. So, Leo, a character that I've had the interest in playing at some point, but not a character that I've really dedicated much time to learning, either to be able to beat Leo or to uh, play as Leo. Um, I think that Leo, a good Leo, would be so unbelievably difficult for Brian because they have stances, their stance character, and a good Leo will have so many mix-ups and so many ways to just like baffle you that they can always stay plus because they're always in stances, and then they'll knock you down, and then they'll come at you more, and then hit a combo on you because Leo actually has pretty good combos. I'm actually going to say Leo is probably one of the hardest matchups for Brian. I usually don't run into Leos that know how to play Leo too well, but I do think that a really good Leo, or at least a decent red rank Leo, would just absolutely destroy my Brian, because if you can keep their plus frames just completely on top of you, like if you can stay on top of your plus frames, you ain't losing with this character. If you can do that, that's you're good with Leo. Um, However, we get to, I'm actually going to do this because both the Bears are relatively the same matchup, and I gotta say, unfortunately, the Bears, again, do not have a lot of competitive viability. So, sorry to say it, Kuma and Panda players, bless your souls. I hope they give you a chance. I hope Harada gives you a chance sometime down the road. And maybe Rangchu will win another tournament, and then they'll probably get nerfed again. But yes, I know, not the Bears. They just don't, they still, after all of the extra tools they have now, they just do not have the viability, I think, in ranked to really amass a lot of stuff. Not saying that a really good player can't figure out how to play the Bears, but they're still going to struggle at higher ranks because of the tools in their kit, not because of the cells in their brain. You know what I'm saying? So that's kind of where I'm at on the Bears. They're still probably not F tier, unlike the next character that I'm actually going to talk about. But they are definitely not viable. They're definitely not viable. So, as much as I hate to say it, I pretty much win these every time just because Bear players really know like one trick. How dare I? Hey man, I can't. I don't control the tier list. Okay, don't come at me with the facts and logic that I'm the one holding the mouse. Don't come at me with that logic. I don't control the tier list. I don't control what Harada does. You can blame this on Harada. You can blame this on the Tekken project, okay? You can blame it there, but not me. I just do what the game tells me, okay? I just do what the game says that I can do. And what I can do is beat the Bears, okay? As much as I hate to say it, kind of can't control it. So sorry, Zane. Sorry, Mads. Sorry. It's not my fault. Harada keeps doing it to the Bears. Oh boy, Asuka. One of my absolute least favorite matchups to play against, because they always catch me being aggressive because they know that they have a parry And I always forget that they have a parry. But guess what? That's their one trick. And I don't have too much else to say about that character because they literally just have the this and then a little bit of this and sometimes the feet. And that's it. So I'm just going to say it. I'm just going to say it pretty much every time because you just have like I do feel bad for Asuka players because I actually think the character design is cool. I think the character design is great. I think that the competitive aspect of it, which I know is not the only important part. I think having fun with your character is the important part, but Asuka is struggling right now with ranked viability. And I think so many Asuka players are just fighting for their lives right now. Because even though they keep trying to buff her like specific unique like property, her like stock that she has, it has not helped her in like most cases just because almost nothing else in her kit is super useful other than her parry, and decent players will sniff it out because it's like, oh well, I'm being aggressive, I should stop doing that. Am I a good enough player to recognize that? No, but I usually still beat Asuka because I just tend to pick characters with better tools. So, speaking of characters with better tools than Asuka, possibly the only character in this game that is both competitively viable and really freaking hard to play. Probably the only other one than Brian, who I think we all know where Brian's going on this list. It's literally going to be 50-50. It's a spoiler. Because you just have to, because again, it's like, it comes down to the Brian, which Brian is better. It's like, that's how it goes. But Lee is so ridiculously difficult to play. He has just frames, which are literally frame perfect executions. He has mix-ups up the wazoo, and if you get a Lee player that can do back two loops at all, you're pretty much getting carried from one side of any map to the other side of like a different map in one combo. Like you're going to start on one side of Ortiz Farm and end up on the other side of Fallen Destiny. Like he can just back two loop you so many times, and it's cool. I'm impressed if somebody can do like 4 back two loops in a row and then splat you on a wall, get your tornado, and then get your damage. Like that's crazy. It's also tough but winnable. I don't think that he's the hardest matchup. I don't think he's like one of the hardest matchups for Brian because he has good keep out, but Brian breaks keep out. Brian, like a decent Brian player. I would consider myself a decent Brian player, considering that I've literally been in the literal middle of the pack. I would consider myself an average Brian. Your average Brian can stand up to a Lee. But weirdly enough, my roommate, Jake, plays Lee. And Jake is better than most of the players that play Lee against me online. But they're so rare, and they're not Jake. So it's really weird fighting a Lee player that isn't Jake, and it will mess with my like perception of the character, which is why I think more people need to play Lee so that I can see where Jake and other ranked players differ. But I don't think that he's impossible. Like I don't think he's one of the hardest matchups, but I do think he's very tough. With I would say that for me, out of 10, I would beat most Lee players. I would say I would beat most decent Lee players 4 out of 10 times. you give me one that's a little closer to my skill level. Obviously, it's 50-50. You get somebody below my skill level, I beat them. In most cases, sometimes they just out rookie you. I've had people just completely doing beginner bullcrap that beats me just because I am not thinking beginner bullcrap. I am trying to think a little bit higher level, and that's why it usually beats me and frustrates me quite a bit. But Leah is definitely a tough matchup, probably a 4-6 for me. However, this next matchup is definitely one of his 7-3s, and that is Xiao Yu, and she is another stance character that can just keep plus frames and keep beating on Brian because that's just what she do. Like I don't think I have beaten a Xiao Yu with Brian in my entire time playing. And mind you, I believe I have about 200 hours in Tekken 8 as a whole. So I think what the real deal is here is that Xiao Yu is just a hard matchup for anybody. I have struggled against so many Xiao Yus online, bro. It's been crazy. I don't actually have too much to say about Xiao Yu. I actually really think that she's balanced. I think she's just so underused that nobody knows the matchup. One of the top minds in the Tekken scene, in the Tekken community, has said the most impressive thing about watching Xiao Yu is when somebody knows her matchup, is seeing if somebody else knows her matchup, and that's crazy. You know, that's an insane compliment to the character because that means that it's really hard to like get her. So I think that if I wanted to, I would definitely learn Xiao Yu, but I haven't had the motivation to. Not like Leo, you know, not like Azu, not like Reina. I just don't think so. So yeah. All right. Well, it looks like as we are coming up on the meat of the list here, we're actually going to get some matchups that are not just 50-50 or pretty much every time or even tough but winnable, but actually some win most times and some hardest matchups. So, Jin is a win most times, I think because of the skill level that it takes for most beginners to play Jin is fairly low. But then to beat somebody like me who has some game knowledge, I think could really most Jins struggle against my Brian just because I have pretty good combo damage, and I have a pretty strong sense of what a Jin is gonna try and do. So that's kind of why I think that Jin is a win most times, but not every time. Kazuya, however, is struggling in this game, and I think he's one of the hardest characters to play, and not because of his like broken, overpowered stuff that is locked behind execution. No, he's got hard stuff locked behind execution that doesn't net you much in the end. Like, I think that he's really super weak in this game. I tried playing him for like 3 days. I can't do it with this character right now. I was really doubtful that people were just complaining about this character, and now I've played as him and I'm like, oh yeah, this is pretty accurate. The community outcry of Kazuya players saying he's weak, he's F tier. They are not downplaying their character. They are absolutely for real, which is why I have to put him in pretty much every time, with exceptions. I think the only person who's beaten my Brian is Kazuya, is somebody who could actually wave dash, which in lower levels is immediately scarier because most people in red ranks don't wave dash. So, at least not fast. This guy didn't. The one guy did it not that fast, but he did it, and that was what was scary. Because wave dash is how you set up mix-ups. So, and because I actually understand the game, it struck the fear of God in me, and I just didn't want to press buttons against him, and as Brian, that kills you because your main tool is trying to like hit buttons while the other guy is about to press a button. So you just have to be able to make that prediction and make that read. So next up is Nina. I would just say she's a win most times. A good Nina will make Brian's life hell because she's a very fast-paced character, just like Law, but she's less. She's got less tech, and she's got way less like matchup viability against Brian because she's really predictable in a lot of ways. And that's really all I have to say about Nina. So, Hwoarang, he's probably tough but winnable at a red ranked level, just because he's got all the mix ups, all the really wild like strings that he can do that can literally be perpetual, and then he can mix you up like crazy. He can do lows, he can do highs, he can do mids, and he can do them out of any stance. I believe that good Hwoarang players are they're the smartest they're the smartest players in the game. I don't know. I think Hwoarang is a tough but winnable one against a good player. Against like your average player, that's just kind of okay. I can use down 3-4 and get into my stance. Well, okay, that's probably a 50-50 or a win most times. But a good Hwoarang player will probably sit in the tough but winnable section. However, not to be outdone by, but actually is outdone just because of how strong he is and the fact that they didn't nerf him that hard in the most recent patch. Feng is actually really hard to beat as Brian because he has all the tools that Brian has, but better. He has better frames, better frame traps, more frame traps. He's got two stances like Brian, but his stances are better. And they have power crushes. He has lows that like Brian doesn't have. He's got spacing that Brian doesn't have. He's also got the snake step that Brian has, but his is faster and goes farther. Feng's range is way more incredible than just about anybody else's, which is why he's such a strong character in a lot of ways, is because his jab is literally twice as long as most other people's. So I think that he's one of the hardest matchups for everybody at this current point. I think that once they throw another nerf or two at him, they probably will balance him out. But he's definitely not triple S tier the way he was, but he's probably double S tier where the other two triple S tiers, one of which is still coming, they're not quite at his level, but he's kind of on a hill of his own. So, that's my thoughts on Feng. Next up, we got my friend Marcus's favorite character and main. Marcus was able to join us at the end of the last stream, but Yoshimitsu. A good Yoshimitsu is always impossible to beat because guess what? Matchup knowledge gets thrown out the window when the person playing their character doesn't know what they're going to do next. They could throw the controller and still beat you. Like they could literally do like juggle their controller and hit a button every time and they'd still beat you because you didn't know what they were going to do. They didn't know what they were going to do. Yoshi is cracked. He's really hard to beat if the person on the other side knows what they're doing. So, not too much to say about him. If you want to watch Yoshi stuff, iMusician is one of the absolute best Yoshi players. So, not too much to say. I don't want to give Marcus any inspiration, just because I don't need him starting to beat me. But Yoshimitsu, definitely one of the hardest matchups for anybody, much less Brian. Lily. Lily is one of those characters that scrubs will see and think, oh, I want to be different. And I'm not saying that in a bad way. I'm saying that they want to be different, so every other scrub picks Lily, and she's a win most times. Like, she's definitely a win most times. Every now and then there will be a Lily that's so aggressive that you can't do anything, but then you just wait and block, and then you jab, and then you set up a counter hit, and usually it works out for you. So, Lily's a win most times. I wouldn't say she's a pretty much every time. I would say she's a win most times. So, Elisa. Elisa's a 50-50. Depends on the player. I don't got too much to say about this character. I don't like this matchup. I think that having a character with insane mobility in a game where everybody else has to work for their mobility, I would say it's not my favorite, but you also should have a character like that to be kind of an anti-Tekken of some sort, which is always good because anti-Tekken is always not always better, but always useful in a game of Tekken. Yoshimitsu, very anti-Tekken. Zafina, very anti-Tekken. Elisa, very anti-Tekken. Nina has guns now. That's very anti-Tekken. And then I would say everybody else is pretty much Tekken to this point. Lars. Apparently this matchup is easy. And I'm just an absolute doofus. Because I cannot figure out how to beat Lars with matchup knowledge. I have to beat them with brute force. And so I would say a good Lars knows how to set someone up with mental frames. So I'd say a good Lars is tough but winnable. I would say that I've fought a lot of tough but winnable Lars because a lot of Lars are very aggressive, and despite their frames being mostly mental, I get all up in my head when I watch a Lars play. Because, I mean, they are just sliding around doing everything. They are avoiding things. Their spacing is great. Again, kind of another anti-Tekken, sort of, but it's fake frames. Basically, it's fake advantage because they're just moving around. You can just jab them out of most things. So, not too much to say about Lars except for this is another matchup I struggle with. Really depends on the player, but actually for me it's tough but winnable. Because I've beaten most of the Lars at lower levels, but at mid levels it's like, oh wow, that's a threat. He's scary. Kind of speaking on the same front, I don't know the matchup that well. Of June. I've seen a couple more Junes recently. I fought like 3 or 4 on what was it, Tuesday on my first stream. So I played a bunch on Tuesday, but like really, like she's a struggle to fight if it's a decent June player, because decent June players are overpowered. Okay, June players are beatable. So I would say between this and this, she's definitely there. She's definitely between these two. I will sort this out in a little bit. I just wanted to get all of them in the right category. And I definitely might move some. So, okay, Deviljin, the absolute edgelord that I think a lot of people, at least I didn't, and Dr. Carr didn't want in this game. We both kind of think that it's a waste of a roster spot. But I think he's one of the hardest matchups in the game for anybody. I really do. Like, a lot of people would say, oh, but he's just a Mishima. Didn't you just say that Mishimas are generally easy because you kind of know how Mishimas play? This is not a Mishima. This is a freak of nature. Okay? This is not a Mishima. Do not tell me that this is a Mishima. This is not a Mishima. This is the literal devil doing such cracked out wild stuff that, like, I can't fathom it in my brain. And there are many things I can't fathom, and Deviljin is one of them. And I think he could really use with a good fathoming, okay? I think he could use with a good fathoming. Waste of a roster spot is such an insult. Oh, do I really want to make Mads mad because I have words about Smash, but I'm gonna leave them for a different day. Because I think that there's a lot of, and maybe that's because I'm not connected to like Nintendo characters or even a lot of the outer Smash characters. So I'm gonna hold my tongue. I'm gonna hold my tongue. But there's definitely not great picks for Smash. But I appreciate that you understand my my need and want to make sure he knows that he Mad says don't get me started. Yeah, no, like this is the kind of tangent that I will get on about Tekken, especially this character and like this character to an extent. Though again, I kind of understand why we have this character. I don't understand why we have this character, or okay, never mind. He's the only one. I'm gonna say it. He's the only one. He's the only one. But the thing that the things that I could say about Smash are the same things that somebody else could say about Tekken. So I'm gonna hold my tongue, and save some face for when I see Mads again in the future. So, but next up, after this unfathomable literal devil, let's talk about Jack 8. When Tekken 8 started, Jack 8 was my nemesis because he's a big freaking robot and I was playing as a very small ninja. Okay? Big robot smash small ninja. Destroys small ninja. Okay? I now play as an insane Muay Thai fighter, okay? I play as an absolutely psychopathic master of Muay Thai. Jack 8 is a win most times just because of my damage and just because of the tools of this character are so insanely anti-Jack, making Jack kind of obsolete in a lot of ways. But he is definitely not a win every time. He's definitely a win most times, but not every time. Not too much to say about Jack 8. He's not a super popular character, and he's always a buff away from being really powerful and really strong, but he hasn't gotten it yet, and people haven't figured that out yet, and they haven't been pushing for it. So, however, if Mikey was here, I would watch my mouth very carefully here. Because Mikey loves King. Mikey loves King. This is one of the hardest matchups in Tekken. Like, period. Period. Absolutely no question marks. King is one of the hardest matchups against a good player. And in this game, he's not just a hard matchup. He is insanely strong in this game. He is insanely, ridiculously strong. However, because of this, King has gotten a lot of attention, which actually drags him down not one tier, but 2 tiers. To me, King is a 50-50 because I understand that a lot of what he's going to do is grab you. He's going to try to give you the very violent hug. And I'm not talking like a bear hug. I'm talking like he's going to hug you around your head, lift you up over his, drop you on your back, and then roll through, pick you back up, do it again. But you know that he's going to try that. So you got to figure out a way to shut him down. And it's also why grapplers are so ridiculously hard in fighting games is because, okay, the first couple weeks, decent players will be so startled by whatever crap that they have. Because command grab characters, especially in good players' hands, are really strong. They're really strong. But they're also really risky. And I think King has maybe not as much risk for his reward as he probably should. But I would say, to an extent, for me at least, he's a 50-50 character because I have done some research on this character and can kind of at least keep out, even if I don't break throws or anything. So, I don't know. I think King for me is a 50-50 right now. I think at higher ranks, obviously, he's going to be a lot stronger. But as of right now, he is strong, but not that strong. And then we got Steve. And my buddy Janelle is listening very closely. Not really, I don't think he's in the stream. But he is definitely going to maybe get a video sent to him of this conversation. So, Steve. He's so unbelievably complicated. He's so ridiculously complicated. But most low-level Steves, most mid-level Steves struggle against Brian because Brian has feet. And what I mean by that is that Brian can kick. The only kicks that Steve really has are his jumping stomp and his regular stomp, and that's about it. And I pretty much beat Steve every time just by pure having feet. Okay? So, that's kind of all I'm going to say right now, because I'm very excited to talk about this next character, because Jake has also started learning this character, this next one. I'm pointing to the screen, but I'm actually pointing where the mouse is at, actually. And where the mouse is at, is Dragunov. One of the strongest characters in Tekken 8 at launch. Currently, among the stronger characters. They did give him nerfs. They nerfed his I believe his forward one, his forward 2. But they also took off some damage of some of his strings, and I believe they gave him an extra punishable move. So I don't remember exactly what the changes happened 2 weeks ago, and I do not remember all of them. So but I would say he's still S tier. I think he's still strong. He's got a lot of good frames. He's got a lot of pressure. He's a very fundamental character with one execution curve. Most of the Dragunovs I fight don't use him optimally, but I think a good Dragunov would be very tough but winnable. And I know a lot of people would probably think, like, oh, where's Azucena on that front? Well, Azucena is new. This character and this character are not new, so there's already stuff that they've had, like, labbed and stuff. So, I think Azucena belongs here for now. I think he belongs here for now, and Feng belongs here for now. And again, I will be rearranging this list once I finish it. So I already spoiled. Brian goes there. It's literally anybody's game from start to finish. It's literally just, okay, who Brian's better? Brian's better. And then there's this guy, newest member of the cast. Good Eddies are very hard to find right now in lower ranks. So at lower ranks, he's very much, pretty much every time. At middle ranks, he's about 50-50. A good Eddie? Probably there as this list at this current point in the list. Because, man, Eddie is so ridiculously good if you have a good brain for mix-up characters. And he's easy as all get out to learn. So what makes Eddie so difficult? Well, he spins a lot. He does a lot of spinny breakdance capoeira stuff, and he's just constantly moving. Even his idle stance is not idle. He's literally swaying back and forth because that's the capoeira stance. A good Eddie will make your life hell and your head hurt. Like, I am not kidding. I've had very few good Eddies coming up. But oh Lord. Oh man. They give me a headache every time they're at least decent, cuz I don't have a good enough understanding of the game yet to be able to really read an Eddie player. I am guessing. Literally, I am guessing. I don't know the strategies. I just know spinny leg, maybe low, maybe mid, maybe high. Good luck guessing. That's literally it. So, let's rearrange the list. So, I think pretty much every time is I don't think you can really change these. I don't think you can really list these in an order that's specifically, okay, this is like, this is the hardest one to beat, or like this is the easiest one to beat. Like I think you kind of can't do that too much. I think that you kind of just have to live with this tier here. For win most times, I think Leroy kind of gets squashed by Jack, Lily, Nina, and Jin. I think at the level I'm at and against good, decent players of these characters, you get some struggle, but you're gonna win most times. At least where I'm at. I would say a good Lily is harder to beat than a Jack and a Nina, but maybe not a good Jin. I would say that. Oh, it didn't switch. I would say that it's probably Lily here, and then Jin here, and then the rest of these goobers here. So I think that's good for that. I wouldn't say I'm gonna make many adjustments here. But so we kind of get to the depends on the player tier. I think that Elisa probably beats these characters. I think Raven is harder to beat than any of these other three because even though these three are like these four here are fairly rare. She's infrequent but not rare per se. Um, but I think these four are so rare. He's probably the maybe the second or third rarest, but he's one of the hardest to read because she's just gonna fly at you. She's gonna roll around on the ground and then kick you once. He's gonna do one of like four moves, but he has an entire arsenal of things that are supposed to confuse you, including shadow clones of himself, which is crazy and kind of really awesome. I love this character. I think that at my level, a decent Raven is going to make, again, your life hell and your head hurt. So I would say that this is probably good. I would say that Brian could literally go in the middle here because again it depends on the player. I think it's hard to shift a lot of people here because again it's a player dependent tier. Here I think we'll probably do a lot of adjustment. A decently is just about impossible to beat without being the hardest matchup. Um, I think Shaheen with his rarity is probably higher than Paul. I would say Dragonov is probably stronger than Shaheen though. Just based on his like everything, his entire kit is just entirely supposed to be stronger than you. Like he's literally supposed to be Brian but on easy mode. I think is literally the case. He's kind of just meant to be an easier design of this character. Um, excuse me. Um, so Paul, I would say a good Huarang is harder to beat than Paul. Um, I still can't get over how easy this matchup sounds and how easy people like conceptualize this matchup to be. But he's probably weaker than June, but I think June is probably weaker than Paul because Paul is rare and Paul is also just, you know, Paul is Paul. He's been around forever. You know what he's going to do. You just got to stop it. Like that's it. I think that's pretty good for that tier. And then the hardest matchups, Feng just over everybody. Xiao Yu probably just by rarity. Good Eddie probably really strong. Yoshi probably actually wilder than Eddie. But not as rare as Xiao Yu. I would probably say about here. I think Yoshimitsu's harder to beat than Devil Jin, but Devil Jin is again just unfathomable for me. Um, and I think I'm actually gonna slip Eddie here. I think I changed my mind. I think that yeah, I think Eddie's probably just right on this line with Lee of that kind of like tough but winnable in the right hands, but also in the scary hands of somebody who's good. He's really hard to beat. So yeah, because the another rationale is that for Brian, it's hard to get counter hits in on stance characters because stance characters, whether mental frames or not, he struggles to get out of plus frame loops because his entire kit is based off of counter hits. So you pretty much just have to jab, but then you pretty much get no reward from it. So I think that's a pretty good tier list. I don't know who's still here, but let me know what you think. Let me know what you think of the tier list, and I would actually appreciate the feedback. My major takeaway of this is please, for the love of God, nerf Fang. Because I know the matchup a decent extent. And it's still not good. It's still not good. So, But yeah, let me know what you think. I'm anxious to see the take of people in the chat. So yeah. So what we got for time? We got a little before quarter to 8. Probably gonna go till about 8:30, maybe 9 o'clock, depending on how the replay analysis goes, which is next. Okay, Mad says thumbs up. Cool. Like, I don't know. I think Tekken 8 is I think it is a well balanced game. I think that there's good countermeasures to each character. Because if I did this from a different character's perspective, I would have an entirely different. I'd have an entirely different, like tier list, like completely entirely different. So, I don't know. I'm happy about this one. I think I might save this and actually post this as a community thing on the YouTube. So, download image, and yeah, we'll go with that. I'm gonna put the starting soon overlay back up. Now I know to start with Azucena or Yoshimitsu. Hey, that's always I really do believe that they are a couple of the most fun characters to play. It's just that I am so like obsessed with I am so obsessed with having characters that are excuse me. Apparently I've talked for an hour straight. Ooh. Talking is hard. But I think that it's always good to have characters that are good to start out with. But I think that for me execution is like a must have for a character, because if I'm not doing I actually posted a video earlier today. I was like, literally I spent an entire summer doing Hadoukens on an arcade stick in Street Fighter 6. So like I spent the literal back half of 2023 doing this, like with my characters. So like if I'm not just spamming quarter circles, like it's really hard for me to enjoy a character. Especially with Tekken, which is supposed to be one of the hardest games, and I've gotten to the point now where like my main command executions, like my directional inputs are so like, you know, mostly consistent that it doesn't challenge me anymore to play somebody like Feng, or even probably Dragunov wouldn't challenge me too much. Which is why I started playing Raven, because his flows were a puzzle to figure out. And then of course Brian is one of the absolute hardest characters to play, but also for me the most fun, because he literally has the most involved toolkit. And I always feel like I'm actually playing the character. So what I'm gonna do, now that we have finished the tier list, I'm gonna throw the starting soon overlay back up for a little bit, take a little bit of a break, and then I'm gonna do a little bit of a practice lobby, just to kind of warm up my brain for actual Tekken, just so I can kind of get the visuals in my head, and then we're gonna do some replay analysis for a little bit, and then we'll call it a night. But thanks for sticking around, Mads, and if anybody else joins in the meantime, welcome, and I will be back. everybody, welcome back. If you are just joining us, we just took a small break, got some water, a less fun but healthier option, I guess, than Dr. Pepper. We are going to do a little bit of practice because even though I'm not going to actually play any ranked tonight, I thought it'd be good that I should probably practice a little bit. So, kind of looking ahead, we are now on the road to 150 subscribers. Hopefully we can reach that by the end of the year. That would be super cool.
Ryan Fury.
So, looking forward to the future. I'm also going to be trying to set a streaming schedule for the rest of the summer. I will be trying to do that in the next couple of weeks, and then of course I'm going to Ireland for basically 2 weeks, and my stream schedule is going to stop, and then
get ready for the next
start
battle
again when I come back. So I'm looking to kind of keep around the same time, same time, same place. I don't think I am going to multi-stream. I think that I'm just going to sit on I think I'm going to sit on YouTube just because that's the platform that I am on. Of course we got a stage with a long distance wall, which is actually good because I kind of did want to demonstrate a little bit before we go into replay analysis, a little bit like what my training looks like. So a lot of my training is oftentimes like getting combos together. It's usually just warming up, starting to move around, usually throwing pokes, throwing side steps, learning to move, getting my hands back in it. You can tell that I'm very tired and can't actually do the having hands portion of this programming. My hands have just completely disappeared. As you can see, my hands just gone. I know, it's crazy. It's insane. You don't know where it is at all. It's definitely not gripping my sleeve like whatsoever. It's definitely not doing that. But oh my god, it's bad. Magic tricks, real magic tricks. But like, you can definitely tell I have not warmed up today. So, we're gonna try to get back into it, and then I'm gonna actually show you guys a drill of kind of stuff that I do as far as actually training. So, beginning that I dropped the combo. I dropped it. Little unwarmed up, frankly. So, how is everybody's day going? Pretty much literally came from work and then made food while I was getting myself. So I would love to hear how your day is. don't want to tell me like how your day was, you can just send an emoji. Maybe it's a laughing emoji. But if you thought about it today, please tell me. I think that's an interesting thing. Tell us how about it. How you absolutely slaughtered that brother. Trying to steal your picnic basket. Yes, video video. Sideways. Yeah, I suppose we could just do that. You really want to hard time hearing me. Well, first of all, am I unmuted? I'm unmuted. I'm probably turned down a little bit. Hold up. Audio. Is this better? Is this a little better? Try not to turn it up too loud because last time I think my screen was crackling because I was clipping. It is a little better. Please let me know. It'd be very nice to know. Better. Okay. Just making sure. Just tapping back. Okay. Missed it. Just a little bit. My hands do not. My hands absolutely feel like dog voodoo today. He has this move. I always forget. Tired boy am I. Got 100 from it. Trying to get one last one. Actually go into the gear. So here's what we do. Something that I have been doing and struggling with, which is a good thing because it means that I have obviously room to improve. Is that I have been trying to train my eyes to be not slow. So as you can see, I'm controlling Jin now. What I'm going to do is actually set Brian to block. And what's going to happen is... Actually, I'm going to set him to don't block because some moves get messed up, I think. Anyway. So what I'm going to do is I actually am going to set up a bunch of different dash-in moves to help train my reactions. So, first one is forward, 3-1 on a deep dash. Second one is down forward 1-4. Yes. Next one is down forward 4 into the cancel, which is also 4, but it does a mid instead of a high. Nope, did it wrong. That's right. The next one is the hell sweep. And then the other one is the down back 4. Looks very similar to the hell sweep, but is a different move, I promise. And then we do to train against this specific move, and also just to have another low. Not that. We don't train reactions against side steps because they're usually not reactable. Okay, I just gave him a bow. We're working on it. This is a work in progress. Hello, I see we have somebody that just joined. Hello, welcome to the stream. We are doing a little bit of Brian reaction practice before we do some replay analysis. So, basically the goal here is to just absolutely never, ever, and I mean never, ever, get hit by this move, because that's the one move you don't ever want to get hit by against Jin. This isn't a specifically Jin training scenario, but this is a very good one for testing for practicing reactions. So this next one is you basically are fuzzy ducking to try and get the high to go over your head and then launching it for a combo. Oops, I have counter on. Hold up. Not like that. You gotta launch things back. I can't survive. And you can't duck early because then you get hit with the mid. Whoa. I'm not too duck. So then you practice this. Combo. Eventually. A little goofy with third dimension. Not bad. The hardest part is when you add this other one, which is the same startup, but it's in the mid. So, basically you just want to not get hit by the mid, and you want to punish it. I can't do it because that's not a punish. That isn't. You can can stop that if you don't want to in this exercise. Now see, I fuzzy duck. I didn't fuzzy duck. I did fuzzy duck, but I fuzzy duck. So this is one of the actual hardest drills that you can do. I got this from a YouTuber named Tekken who does some of the best YouTube coaching tutorials and learning the game. He does some of the absolute best technical content you could add. He was the one that showed his channel. I did the wrong input. It was under input. This is probably among the hardest parts of the game. Because once you know when to look for the lows, you can pretty easily react to the lows. It's just trying to guess the wall standing the high. You have to basically learn to fuzzy duck and then if you see it's the mid coming, you can punish with 12 corner like that. And then this is honestly the hardest part of the drill in my opinion. And that's why I need to try this part. I keep missing the axis. Maybe I should just try. Maybe we should try a different version. There we go. There we can go. Okay. Alright. And then the next thing you add is the health sweep, which is literally just to add the low in there. Oops. Got that. Health sweep. Missed it. Splatted. What this is really supposed to do is to train you to actually watch your opponent. That's not a punish. That wasn't a punish. That's a move. It's better to be late than wrong in this instance. That was wrong. Thought the third dimension might get me there. So I'm already struggling with this. Now let's add the other low just to make the reaction. Like that other one. I noticed that I didn't have a dash on. Make it unbelievably hard, which is the full version where you have all of the attacks coming at once. It's all scary. Yep, and I ate that one. We're doing combos down. I'm trying not to do this one like for too long because it makes it actually genuinely hard to like brain afterward. So, all right, let's go do some replay analysis. Do I have my notebook here, or am I taking? I'm taking notes in my phone. I am taking notes in my phone. All right, so let us take a look here and see. I don't know why it's jumping to the top every time, but okay. We've had a lot of matches the other day. Let's hold up. Okay. So here's how you do replay analysis in Tekken 8. So what you do usually is you want to look at your losses more than your wins, because you're, especially 3-0s like this, you obviously had some form of mental or gameplay advantage over them. So we're actually going to take a look at this, and it's going to give me a whole bunch of tips.
Get ready for the next battle.
It's going to give me a whole bunch of tips, and we're going to break, and we're going to completely turn off all the tips and see what we can see with our own eyes. So this is a battle from Tuesday on stream. If you would like to see highlights for the full VOD,
Round one.
On my
fight.
I do have it on my channel if you would like to watch it. So here's what you do with fighting game, but also specifically Tekken replay analysis. Is you look at the stuff you did, and you look at, and the entire time you're asking yourself the question: what killed me, and how do I avoid it? So a little greedy there. Let's back up a little bit. So, what happened here? So, threw the hatchet kick, threw the knee, got beaten by the low, and then I just threw a jab. Because they hadn't taken their turn, so they dumped it. I could have probably thrown the jump there if they didn't take their turn. Back up. So, get off the wall, no punish, good jab. Chip damage. So I could work there. So one of the nice things is about Tekken 8 is you can actually take over your character. Try that. Oops. Okay. So, alright, we're gonna try it again. Oh, wall hits. I see it. So, because of the wall hits, I would have to, I believe, let's see where it sticks. Wait a minute, still learning to navigate the game. Oh, you know what I could do? You know what I could do? Okay, so we've learned something. What? Oh, it's probably because Shadow Play is frozen. Hold up. Because it looks like it's frozen on my lag thing here. Hold up. There we go. Fixed it. Literally just by spamming the arrow keys. I don't know why Shadow Play does that. I'm sorry for the freeze. I should have seen it sooner. But we're still working on it. Hoping to get a different software fairly soon. I think OBS is going to be my next pursuit. But I just wanted to get a couple streams in to get the flow of things. Yes, thank you for the update on the frozenness of the stream, man. Thank you. All right, let's keep going. So we could have done a mini combo there, gotten some magic out of it. So,
Round two.
So big thing there. At the end of that round, I was just jabbing for absolutely no reason. Sorry for the inflection. Is it so hard for you guys? How's it doing that? Okay, I can see my camera moving.
Fight.
Because, like, my camera is moving and the gameplay is frozen. I wonder why that is. Okay, now it's moving. Okay, let's go back to the first round and skip kind of the end here.
Fight.
Why do they keep losing?
Round 2. Fight.
Just be the next one. Like, yeah, I see the camera moving. Okay, it's because I keep putting the game out of focus to try and fix it. Okay. Let's try this again. Let's try round 1 again so I can kind of explain.
Fight. I keep trying to skip to the end of the round to actually watch it. I'm trying to fix the stream. Man, streaming is hard. Who would have known? Mads, why didn't you tell me that streaming is challenging? Mads, this help. I need escape code. So basically, at the end of the round, I got very greedy, and so right after it, we get a nice little orbital attack. No wall combo. We got decent damage for a beginner match. I'm not too worried about leaving damage on the table in these. Again, I'm getting very aggressive. Part of this is because the lower character keeps grabbing and keeps pressing, and I sometimes still struggle fighting against hyper-aggressive opponents like this. And I wanted to frame trap this person, but this person wouldn't eat the frame trap on block. Because they just wouldn't block. So it was like, the adjustment I needed to make here was that it was read that they were pressing just about everything, and that I could have just taken advantage of that by power crunching through. And I think I started making that read in the next fight. I think I started power crushing through more stuff. So again, I'm getting very aggressive against a very aggressive opponent, and what I should be trying to do is probably Bear is throwing the knees that I just threw. I think would have been my best bet there. I think the reason I lost was I was actually just getting too aggressive against an aggressive opponent, and that's something to work on. Against aggressive opponents, you want to be. It's weird against like passive opponents, you want to be more aggressive, and against non-aggressive opponents, you actually want to be fairly passive. It's weird. You actually want to be more passive the more aggressive your opponent gets, because you can get a read then. Let's watch the next ready
fight
for the next battle.
to see what I changed. See if we can't pick up on anything that I did right for this one. So this one's a 3-0 in my favor. So first thing is that I'm not going in as heavily. Obviously, I'm using longer range moves that I want to. Because I've read that this person is extremely aggressive. See, I got grabbed there because I did the same thing. But you can see that I'm playing a lot less, like, in their face, trying to out-aggression them, trying to out-alleviate them. And then there I just won because of patience pokes. If you're new to the stream, welcome. We are doing some replay analysis to end off this. We're taking a look at some matches I played on Tuesday, seeing what I can fix. See, what I'm doing here better is I'm either setting up a frame trap by throwing a jab and interrupting what they're doing, instead of just throwing random frame traps on block, which this person was only blocking once here. Missed an execution, that's okay. I'm less worried about the execution part because that just comes in time. But it's like learning the stuff that's going on up here is actually better. So what I did better there was pretty much just I could just say, well, I played the game better, but that's not actually helpful. So what did I do in? So this was actually the second time I faced this person. Yes. So this is the second. This is the second set I played this person in. But the result was pretty much the same. It was I think they won one round against me that entire night. So I'm not gonna worry too much about that. Let's actually see, because I lost a round in this one. So I want to see what I did that killed me here, because obviously
get ready for
something
the next
happened
battle,
and it's fixable. And actually, we might go back and look at that Reina match. So we will see. So I know this is a much more laid back stream and much less happening. If you read the title, I was at work for 9.5 hours today, and I just did not feel like trying to rack my brain for some more energy. So I'm doing analysis instead of actually playing the Tekken, which is fine. I believe next Tuesday, actually it might be probably next Monday too, I will actually be streaming ranked again, because I'm going to try and make the push up to at least orange rank, if not getting red rank on Monday or Tuesday. It would be nice if I could get it on Monday, but
round one. Fight.
I don't know. I feel confident at this point in my ability that I'm going to start making adjustments. So, okay, cool. I'm doing this kind of a standard jab setup into not technically a true frame trap, but okay, I missed an execution there. That's whatever. Again, execution will work itself out. It's what execution should do rather than what execution I tried and failed.
Round two.
Because execution just fight. So I won that round because I just got a good life lead. It was here that he threw a mid as I was trying to duck the last hit, and that killed me because I ate too many of those high strings. And I was gonna try and duck them because I realized they were high and that he was spamming them, and he chose the right time to do that. So that was good on him. Let's actually go back and see if there's anything else we can kind of pull from this round here. So tried to sidestep. So here's where I eat a good chunk of damage because of that mid. And I tried that frame trap again, and he jabbed me. So I need to. The biggest thing that I actually need to work on right now is I need to stop
Round 3.
using the same setup all the time. Because against beginners, obviously, lower level players, it's going to work better. Things like that. Players at lower level aren't going to work for that as much as like higher level players. Like I've had way more orange ranked players react to that than anybody lower than that. So I'm not super worried about this fight. Obviously, I won. Big old damage. That's execution. I chose the right thing. I figured he'd wake up doing something, and then that's a mental note. Always know your 15 frame punishes, because random rage arts can be life or death. So, because if you don't know your 15 frame punish and it's like last hit or last few hits, you're in trouble. For some reason, I always find the characters that don't have like launching 15 frame hits. So, ooh. This one looks fun because I had lost rounds. So
get ready for the next battle.
Again, I do want to say I do feel bad that I was playing like really hard against these lower level players. I just want to get back to where I'm like where I actually should be, so that I'm not smurfing. You know. So. So yeah. And yeah, I think my final streak yesterday was like 22. I forget who broke it. Was it the Shaheen? I can't remember.
Round 1. Fight.
But yeah, I can't remember. Yeah, I'm apparently really obsessed with that setup. I need to stop being so like that back one setup is just. I think it's gonna get me killed eventually because I'm so used to people eating it that it's gonna get me killed eventually, and I think I need to get out of that habit. Okay, that's an execution error that can be fixed. So that's a matchup knowledge thing. That's something that I'm actually gonna worry about once I get to like purple and blue ranks, because and not these blue ranks. I mean like the purple ranks and the blue ranks above purple ranks. If I, once I finally work my way there, which I know is probably gonna happen. Matchup knowledge is not something that I'm going to worry about too much right now, because I'm at the point where people are still learning their own characters, and I should really be like figuring out mine. So yeah, getting one of my biggest things is getting too aggressive against aggressive opponents. And it didn't kill me there, but it's gonna the next round.
Round 4. Fight.
Because again, June is one of those characters that I don't really know the matchup for. And again, I was living and dying by that pin trap yesterday, or Tuesday. Heat Smash used to have Heat Burst have a lot of range.
Eat that. So that actually kills me. Drop combo. Get low. And then me just being aggressive because I don't.
Final round. Fight.
Yeah. What I'm noticing here is getting too aggressive against an opponent that obviously knows their timings and understands that you can hold on to stuff. Third dimension moment. That's actually a really good setup. Right off the combo, if I throw that, it crushes lows. It probably gets knocked out by mids, but they won't get much out of it if they wake up mid kick or spring kick. Yeah, I'm not too worried about that. Yeah, that one was a lot of matchup knowledge that I didn't know, and obviously I pulled it out in the end, which is okay. Lost around in here. I think this is one that I watched
Get
a bunch
ready
back,
for the next battle.
because this was just a fun one. Looks like I'm having a bitrate issue. Apologies if the stream goes a little kafooey. I'm having a bitrate issue. One or two more replays and then I'm gonna call it a night. I do need to get some sleep because I gotta drive home tomorrow. So, but I'm gonna keep going. What time is it? A little bit before 9. I'll probably call it at about 9 o'clock. So, but we're gonna watch more replays because there's always stuff to learn. So, and a lot of these are gonna be pretty basic. Pretty basic analyses just based on
Round 1. Fight.
just based on the fact that I'm just, I'm an amateur and all that other stuff. Let's actually start. So I power crushed off Rip, thinking that he was probably gonna attack. Something I'm noticing about this Dragunov player is that he doesn't really have his ranges down on his attacks. Which makes sense because again, this rank is you're literally just picking up a kill. You're not. He seems to have a good knowledge of his uses. I just think he needs to pick up a blocked it, but no problem. So random rage art. So this one is that I lost because of how much that
Round 2.
so yeah.
Fight.
And then I think I literally did that out of spite because I also did hit confirm the rage art. So I really also need to get out of the habit of using that low because it's too slow. Way too slow.
3. Fight.
To be because I even had yellow ranks blocked it against me, so I gotta get in the habit of doing that. So and that was me literally just trying to remember what that story was. If I know somebody was gonna try and jab, it's probably fine. Oh yeah, and then I break the brakes.
Round 4. Fight.
I need to stop throwing 2 jabs. One of the things I'm noticing is that I really need to learn to take my frames and run. Like, I really need to learn to take a hit and use my turn to move. Because that could net me answers. Especially now that I actually know what punish is with him. That one I just caught him pressing. Alright, yeah, so that one, so big deal now is just getting back in the habit of less frame trap abuse, taking plus frames and stepping, usually sidestepping. Well, actually, no, you don't want to sidestep with plus frames because you'll miss your timing on it unless it's like a jab on block, but you'll lose your turn and you're probably gonna get clipped. Let's look at Lars actually. Actually, what I'm gonna do is I think I have
Get ready for the next
display
battle.
up. If I don't, I'm gonna put it up because I want to see what his frame data looks like on a lot of this stuff, because this is I've continually said, like on this stream earlier, on the stream on Tuesday, and now I'm saying it again. Why is this one of the matchups that I just don't get?
Fight.
I can't see it because of my face cam. That's also not the one I meant to do. So, I'm the only one who's seen attack so far. He's still strong. That's minus 17. I need to work on that because okay, perfect. he pretty much had no offense in that. Oh, that's why. Okay. I couldn't remember that combo. It was like, oh, I finally hit it. Why didn't I use that in my video I made earlier? Figured out. Why is it only letting me do that? Oh, because it's literally. I'd have killed him if I had done forward 4-1. Yeah. Okay. I don't know why I was so confused by that. Yeah, because the reason that I died was because I didn't do forward 4-1 after he whiffed. After I knew he was gonna whiff,
Round 4.
I pretty much could read distance wise he was gonna whiff. So the one of the big things I'm noticing too is punishment is not
defend my friend. Partly that's because I haven't studied a lot of games. Need to lab that range on this. See what I can do with that. Well, hey, I have this really fun mechanic. Okay, so I just gotta remember that next time on a random floor break, we're gonna just do down back to. Okay, so that just cancels out. We actually use the
Final
we actually is doing a good job.
fight.
Still easy enough things that still gotta stop that. Bad execution, fix that later, fix that in practice later. Safe, but it's not as nice. Oh, okay, gotcha. I was confused why he had an attack with 8 frames, but it's literally just after the... Okay. Okay. Probably take a look at... Let's watch this Raven one. Because this is the one matchup I know, and it's very interesting. So,
Get ready for the next battle.
Where I can get better and see what is more the guess rather than like. Because I think one of the reasons he beat me is he had me start to guess, and that's how you want to play as Raven. And actually, that's kind of how you beat Brian. Is you make him
fight.
Unable to guess. So one of the things I thought pretty much before I could see it is that as soon as I see a backstone, because I know this character, I know that I should just run off. You can't break back. So something I needed to start watching out for is that. And it's weird because I don't react to my own moves. Because I know that move backwards and forwards because I've done it so many times now. Wind up because I knew that if he was going to stand back to him, then I would be able to go grab it. The only thing is that I didn't help myself with a side switch because I actually took myself away from the wall. It would have been good if I just grabbed him from the back with a grab. Alright, so what kills me in these next 3 rounds?
Fight.
Back turn low. Low. So a reason I didn't quite make in the moment was that he loved those because he was trying to set me up for this. That one there, he just had that just outperforms my range-wise. Yeah, this guy loves those. See, and I blocked the one. So now I should have known that he was just gonna do the basic mix-up of.
another thing is I wasn't throwing pokes against this guy. Pokes with a poke. Because he was not poking. Pokes would have destroyed this guy. If I actually played the poke people. He's just doing a lot of words. I should have for next time. Always make mental notes for next time. So plus 15. I didn't use it. So he went mid that time, I guessed it. Then he got combo, mini combo. Didn't get all of it. Low again. Thought he was gonna go back to the low. Nice teleport. Good choice by him. He took a really long time to end this round. He could have killed me. Oh, that's right, because he realized that I knew my move to hit him off the ground. And if I'd actually been not aggressive there, part of it was just the time. So the biggest lesson I'm going to take away from that is don't let what is it in wrestling? Short time. Don't let short time get in your head. That's a big lesson. Is don't let short time get in your head. You can unless it's like this just completely insurmountable life lead, you can get it back. So yeah, let's do. I think we'll do one more, and then we will call it. I think. Watch the Shaheen one, because I don't see too much Shaheen, because it doesn't. Because Shaheen doesn't come up as much even as Lee. Lee is just really hard. So let's just see how this goes. See what we can glean see what we can glean from this final replay of the night. So once it loads, we'll get a very hold on, sorry, getting a weird message. I think it's just the loading screen kind of messes with the stream, because it genuinely does mess with my frames, but that's just because it's trying to load a big map with 2 stages, or with 2 phases.
Round 1.
Let us learn today. So he backed up just enough, and he whiff punished me. I think that was a misinput. I think I meant to do down forward. Got a little greedy. Sidestep. I could have gotten a grab out of that. One of the things I gotta start thinking about. This did a lot of damage. I didn't realize it did that much damage. I thought I was safe there, but I was not. So what killed me there, as many times before, getting too aggressive. This guy actually backdashing after his stuff. Yeah, he walked back that time. Which is good, actually a good thing to see. Let's look at this guy's movement. So he gets a move with some pushback, and I throw a jab, and he whip punishes really well. Well, okay, he missed his punish in totality, but like he punished him at a good distance. So this is yeah, this guy wasn't bad. His spacing wasn't terrible at his
Fight.
and his character knowledge wasn't bad. That was the thing that I noticed, is that what little he actually did with his character, he knew how to use it, which is almost more important. I could have gotten so much more damage there. I get. I gotta get more used to I can't even do it now. The timing, I really need to muscle memorize this. It's such a good whip bump. I can get more damage. Okay, so one of my biggest things is that I just need to, now that I actually know the whiff punish, I just need to learn it. I just need to actually use it as one. Because I'm not too worried about block punishes right now, because I figured out what my time frame punish is. That's kind of what you need to know at my initial level.
Round 4.
But it's whiff punishes that are going to kill people at this level, because they do that. Start trying to poke a little bit more. Counter hit grab. We can choice. Yeah, so a big thing I'm noticing is that I'm not noting spacing. I'm not really taking note of spacing. So I think my biggest things are, don't be so aggressive. You know, be able to put pressure, but don't be so aggressive that you that I create bad situations for myself. But I think at the same time, it's like I can also just work on having better spacing, and I think everybody's spacing in Tekken can be better, but because that's one of the hardest parts of fighting games is spacing. So anyway, for those of you that are still here, I thank you for joining me on stream. It was a very good stream, I think. I think it was a very productive stream as far as the the learning. I think learning is always a big part of everything. But I also think that one of the coolest parts of playing Tekken is how much there is to learn. And we will definitely be doing more replay analysis in the future. I think my plan now is that I am going to start basically doing it where I warm up before the stream. Yes, thank you, and thank you for joining me, Mads. I think I'm gonna start doing it where I warm up before the stream, not do a practice like I did here. Then I think we're gonna throw the replays on just to give my hands a break and also get my brain thinking about like what I could actually be doing during the stream. During the matches, and kind of get my brain engaged in it as well as my hands. And then I think then we'd play ranked, take a little bit of a break, then do another like, okay, getting my hands back into everything after the break, and then finishing it out with some ranked matches. Yeah, so anyway, not to keep you guys for too long, but that is the end of the stream. Thank you guys so much for joining me, and I will see you guys in the next video or the next stream. Bye-bye!